And we're live.
Do it the Israel way, right?
Pub stomp the unarmed.
We haven't talked about Israel at all because it's such a fucking touchy subject, and like I don't know enough about it to like talk about it. But man, it just seems like they have been massacring people for like, I think there's a ceasefire right now, but I keep reading that they're like blowing up the buildings where like the media is staying, and just.
There's one crazy clip where it's like some Palestinian journalist on top of a roof, and he's like filming just kind of out, and it shows like a preliminary, like I guess a targeting strike, and it like hits this big like 12-story building like nearby, and then you just see like boom, 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 like 5 more shots or whatever, and just like the whole like half the building just shorn off, and just
in Israel's defense, I heard a Palestinian mock somebody's uncle.
I've heard
they had it coming.
They have some really powerful slingshots over there. Those Palestinians with their powerful slingshots.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Well, but 4,000 rockets coming into Israel. I mean, again, this is impossible to have any type of opinion on, because number one, what's the source of information? I don't know
exactly.
What's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough to talk about.
The source of our information is largely Israel. Right?
Yeah. Like all I see is like.
But CNN, MSNBC, they're gonna be biased one way, and then you're gonna have Conor. No one knows this really. I don't know what's really going on. The second thing is, if you're what side am I on? If the Palestinians stop throwing missiles, I'm on their side. Okay, now Israel, stop it. But what do you do? How do you mitigate that? 4,200 rockets in the last week. Okay, how do you handle
how many casualties? I think wasn't it 1?
Isn't that irrelevant?
Well, I mean, it's not irrelevant if like one side is using like.
If I start rocketing your house, Taylor, your concern will not be the quality of my rockets.
Kyle, how about this? I come to your house, I force you out of your house, then I bulldoze your home, and then I build my own house there, and you protest, and then the police on my side shoot you with rubber bullets, and then your side starts shooting rudimentary rockets, and then my side uses scorched earth.
But Taylor, I'm just laying it out. Did you? I want to lay out the one important detail though. Like you said, you forced me out of my home. Didn't you own the land I had built my home on?
No.
I meaning you, my ancestors from 2,000 years ago owned it, so now I own it.
That's absurd. Yeah, it's outrageous.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, legally they can go in there and
me claiming, I don't know, ownership of some England land from my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather.
Again, I don't know the details. It all seems pretty messy to me. It seems like Israel is really punching down a lot of the times.
Again, let's talk about that. If Israel wanted to genocide and eradicate Gaza, they could do it in a heartbeat. They're not. I just, when you look at the logic of it, with their capabilities, if they wanted to take out Gaza, it would have been done already. So you got to look at that point as well. Like they're really showing some type of restraint here, and I don't know.
Restraint is being a problem. The loose support in the international community.
Yeah, that would be the thing. And like what you see is that they just kind of inch their way in, and so they take bits, and the international community the whole time is stop. The only people who are supporting you are the U.S. Well, I guess that's all it takes is the U.S. And that's that's the way it's kind of gone. Is like slowly, you can look at the images of like what Israel looks like 60 years ago, 40 years ago, 20 years ago now.
What do you think the option is? Because if they stop mitigating the launchers, what are they just going to? What I've read, and I don't know shit because I don't. I don't either. They are coming after the people launching the rockets, and the people launching the rockets are, again, I don't know if this is true or not, but the story is that these people are being embedded in homes, AP building. There was a headquarters for communications for them, so they're targeting the source of the rockets. So that's what they're going after. And the thing is that when you put military capabilities in a civilian population, it's going to happen. It's a horrible thing. But what's the option? Just let it. Okay, we know if we know we're going to keep shooting rockets here because they're afraid to shoot back at us. So how does Israel mitigate? Iron Dome's going to run out of missiles eventually. They're a lot more expensive than the things that they're shooting from that come from Iran. So
they won't run out of missiles.
We give them $4 billion a year.
Yeah, we give them plenty of money for all that. Like their military is not lacking for anything.
Again, and I'm not claiming to have any answer. I'm asking a question here. what are the options available to them to protect Israeli lives, which include Muslims, Christians, Druids. There's people are dying across all face over there. So what is their option to mitigate these rockets? They can't. How do they stop?
I have no idea, but like the way I'm looking at it is like this is clearly like a feud between like tribes of people who have been there for thousands of years before the U.S., Russia, like before these were countries, like warring groups of people there. And for like us to think like we could solve it is, I think, silly. And so I don't know what they need to do over there, but they're not the United States. And so what the U.S. needs to do is just back off a bit. Like, we're not going to solve this. All we're doing is hemorrhaging lives, hemorrhaging money, losing tons of friends internationally for defending this all the time. Like, it doesn't benefit us.
Do you support sending more money to help the Palestinians?
No. I'm saying like pull all the foreign aid. Totally. We have enough problems in the U.S. We can handle problems here.
That's Taylor's.
We talked about homelessness.
It's not as if there's never any nuance, but if you were to predict Taylor's stance, it would be stop interfering all over the place everywhere.
Yeah, we keep losing. We keep just tripping ourselves over and over. Oh, this'll be the time that she holds the football down and this goes off without a hitch.
Yes, this time we kick the football, Taylor. It's going to be different.
I mean, we talked about so much with homelessness earlier. I'm pretty sure if we took all that money we're using, you're muted, Kyle. If we took all that money, we could pretty easily reopen a lot of these asylums that people need. Like that's where this kind of money should be spent. Helping
I don't think
people
our audience
here.
gets the Charlie Brown references.
Oh, I bet they do. They live through Christmases and Thanksgiving. Everybody sees those, right?
I barely get it.
Oh, well, maybe my grandparents had it on a lot more than yours did.
Yeah, but he's old timey.
Video for the Charlie Brown ref. You get to see it. That's Lucy. She's that Lucy.
But yeah, it's a clusterfuck that we're not.
No, I don't know what the answer to, but isolationism that is sort of an attractive option. Just staying out of it. I saw Biden just sold them. I saw Biden just sold them a ton of shit. It was in the hundreds of millions of dollars. The weapon deal he just did with Israel.
Now a lot of these people are like, oh, both parties are the same, and I'm like, no, they're not the same. In this regard, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah. Both
exactly
parties are pro-Israel, which is interesting. It's almost like they know something we don't.
In the Democrat side, pro-Israel was a very safe stance. Now the Democrats seem somewhat divided. There's a lot of people from the other side in the Democratic Party now.
It seems like the lever holders, though, like the Chuck Schumers, the Pelosi's, they're all still the same. It's more like the young, Biden. It's more like the young, like the AOCs who aren't.
So we're doing our $50 patron hangout coming up pretty soon. If you want to take part, you can sign up in the Patreon below. It's coming up. And we have an Israeli tank commander in that group of people. So we'll get to talk to our boy. I don't want to use his real name because of what's going on right now, but he's an Israeli tank commander. And it's interesting.
Somebody ask him his kill-death ratio.
I'm going to. We're gonna.
Well, clearly infinite. He's alive.
He apparently had a really productive talk with Fish, who's from Lebanon, the other day.
Good.
I guess they.
I like both of them.
They made it sound like if we could get those two to like handle the peace talks, maybe we'd get somewhere.
Get him and Fish to handle it.
Yeah, two members of the RSK group have apparently made peace in the Middle East.
Yeah, I rarely use any type of television as something that is educational right now, but there's a show on Netflix called Fauda. Fauda. It was written by a former IDF soldier, and he's as an undercover operative working in Gaza. And they do and it's a joint production between Arabs and Israeli producers. And they do a marvelous job of showing just how complex and just how just impossible the circumstances. It's not like Israel bad, Palestinian good. It's just this tribal, you're about to kill me, so I kill you, but now their brother's pissed at me. He tries to, it's just the chain reaction, and he called it Hammurabi's goat. And see, this funny part is basically this all happened when Hammurabi's goat went into somebody's field and ate the turnips, and the guy killed it, and he wouldn't pay the guy for the goat because the goat ate all the guy's turnips. So that's how it began 5,000 years ago. The goat crossed somebody's garden, and it's been escalating ever since. This kind of, but it was just, but it's a great show. It's called Fauda, Fauda. It's one of the best written, and it's subtitles. But a friend of mine is.
No, that looks interesting. I'm reading about it right now.
It's again a friend of mine. His name is Gotti. He's a former IDF soldier, and he turned me onto it. And I was just like, all right, let me watch it. And I was reticent at first. I had like background. And then the guy who's the lead actor is he's a former soldier, Israeli soldier, and he's one of the main writers on it. And he's such a good actor. He's like, oh my, because he's so authentic. His weapons handling was like, first like, look at this guy, his weapons handling is just spot on. And then I read about, sure, the guy's he's a former operative. And I recommend watching it so you get just how convoluted and impossible it is to find ground, because it's all revenge. It's all balancing energy. And how do you come out of that spiral? My fucking fear is that, man, that we're spinning that directions ourselves right now. There's very little generosity or kind of trust that, okay, maybe somebody can do something different if I just give them the benefit of the doubt. There's like our poor, again, that's. We're heading down that road faster than we think of, from my observations.
There's a little mini-series coming out called The Human Factor that's on Amazon. I don't know if it's out yet, but it's about Israeli-Palestinian negotiations in the 90s, and it looks very good. And it seems pretty prescient, but coming out now.